Hi guys, it's Harvey from All Parts Pool and Spa. Today we're going to talk about a little pet peeve that's going to be coming up and everybody needs to know about it. These anti-entrapment safety systems and some of these new pumps that are coming out to help the anti-entrapment systems to work. If you read the owner's manual on 90% of them, and why on the ones that break the vacuum, they don't want a check valve anywhere in the system, is really going to start causing a gray area. Because if you have a heat pump or a gas heater, to keep your warranty, you got to have a check valve in the system. So it really puts us in a gray area. So I wouldn't base on my thoughts, but this is one way to tackle it. You can do two things, and I would check with the company, make sure that it would be okay. And number one is if we put a salt system where we change our pool to a salt system, and we just generate chlorine, which changes the pH when the flow is on and operating. So if the pump turns off, the cell turns off, and it's not generating any more chlorine, or chlorine gas, or chlorine liquid, whatever attacked that heater. Is that good enough for the company? Then also, how about if we don't want to change it and we still want to sanitize by a 3-inch chlorinator? Now, to keep with safety systems, it says in the manuals that we can't have any check valves anywhere in the system. But then when you go to the heaters, it says you have to have a check valve for the warranty. So I'm just thinking about this gray area, and this is my solution. This is a hobby solution. Again, I would call the manufacturer of your heater and make sure, tell them, hey, listen, I got this pump. It's telling me I can't have any check valves in the system, and I want to chlorinate, by a Haywood, chlorinator. What do I do? Ask them if you put in a Hartford loop, a very big Hartford loop, and you will not shut off the pump, okay? You will not turn off the pump. You run the pump 24/7. That's another thing you'll tell them. You're going to run the pump all the time, and you're going to put in a Hartford loop. Now keep in mind, every day you have to check your chemicals, regardless. Say we got a heater on this side and a chlorinator on this side. We had it straight piped. Chlorine gas loves it going straight into that heater and attacking it. But if we put in a Hartford loop, come out of the heater with a 245s to a 90, 245s to a 90, come back across 245s to a 90, and 245s to a 90, and then go on a chlorinator. What I feel is, if chlorine gas still wants to back up, it loves going straight across. It rocket ships straight up. It likes going this way, but doesn't really like going down. It hits an air pocket and it just doesn't like going down. So that's my recommendation, how to get around not having any check valves in the system. And again, this is my opinion. I'm trying to call a couple of people, and they're going, huh, never knew that. Well, I said, well, your pump and your safety system says no check valves, and then your heater says to keep up the warranty, it needs a check valve. What are we going to do? I can't get a clear answer yet. I'm going to, but they go, I don't know, we just make this stuff up. This engineer makes this thing up and that engineer makes that thing up. The two don't talk together and nobody knows what to do. So I think it's going to be a Hartford loop. And then they want to really get picky, change your system to a salt pool. It turns off when there's no water flow. You're not generating any chlorinator. You're not dropping the pH. But keep in mind, you have to maintain your pH in all your chemicals. That's why you got to read and understand all your manuals. All right, I started reading manuals, and this is where I got where I wanted to be. Confused because, one hand says no check valves, and the same manufacturer says you put a heater in, you need a check valve. And I can't get an answer. Not yet. I'm hopefully going to get one later today. But what was I going to say? I kind of spaced out there. But anyway, a salt system would be the way to go. It feels better. You enjoy your pool better. It only generates chlorine, liquid or gas, depending how you want to talk about it, only when the pump is on. Make sure you wire it correctly. The salt system turns off when the pump is off. I see it so many times. They didn't want to spend the $85 for a flow switch, so they bypassed the flow switch, and it's plumbed to a regular line. If you read most of your manuals, it says this system needs to be plumbed to the same circuit as the pump. Okay, same with your heaters. They have to be wired to the same circuit as the pump. The reason why, okay, let me give you one bad case scenario. I saw it 2 years ago. I red tagged the whole system. The man was really upset. But he didn't understand what he did. He needed a flow switch for his chlorinator system. He had his pump on a time clock, but he had his goal line system on a regular breaker which always saw power. He needed a flow switch. He didn't want to order one, so he was smart enough, he jumped at the flow switch. So what happens when there's no water flow, that chlorinator generator makes chlorine, and it's a gas at that point. Well, the gas starts bubbling out the liquid, gas starts building up, and it's an atom bomb. It starts arcing between the plates, and it explodes. And if you're near there, let me tell you, you don't want those titanium plates anywhere near your eyes or anything, because you will definitely regret it. And you can't sue anybody because you tampered with the equipment. So that's why I say never, never bypass safeties. And read and understand your manual. Give me your thoughts on this Hartford loop and salt system. I'm going to make some phone calls today. Hopefully today's a slow day, and call a couple of people and get their thoughts on it, and I'll get back to you guys. All right, so my recommendation is salt system and a Hartford loop. Take care, guys. Bye.